Doctor Who is dead. Alright, it's not dead, but it's dead to 90% of the fandom. I'm not one of these people who goes around claiming, woke, Doctor Who dead, rip Doctor Who 1963 to 2017. I liked RTD2, I did. I don't go clicking off, I'm not going to be one of these people who claims that the show should go serialised and modern, because I don't think it should. Doctor Who isn't serialised. And before all the classic fans come at me, I'm not counting the classic era as being serialised. They were 20-minute episodes. Altogether, they come to about an hour and 40 to 2 hours, which is your average episode of like Midsummer Murders or something. You know what I mean? That's not serialised. Serialised would be if they did 2-hour long episodes for 4 or 5 weeks. I'd count that as serialised, but they didn't do that. Flux was serialised. The War Between the Land and the Sea was serialised. Torchwood Children of Earth and Torchwood Miracle Day was serialised. Doctor Who doesn't fit that, in my opinion. Some people disagree. I think Flux was a good idea because you bring in all these different Monster of the Week monsters and you drag that out over a couple of episodes, and then it still feels a bit Monster of the Week whilst also being serialised. But we've done that now. We can't have a Flux 2. So here's what I propose. And by the way, I'm not disregarding the people who want serialisation. In fact, what I'm about to say sort of works in your favour as well. So let's work together to figure out what's going on. Now, I will say that we did pretty much get confirmation through a leak. If you want to see the full video on the leaks, I've got a video on this channel. Basically saying that Doctor Who is going to go to more specialised versions like Sherlock, where they're like an hour and a half, 2 hours long, and there's a couple of them spread throughout the year, rather than what we have now, which is a full-length series, or what people wanted, which is serialisation. They're going to sort of bin them both off and do sort of like the 2009 David Tennant specials, spread throughout the year with an extended runtime, hopefully. Now, for those of you who don't know, I write TV, and I also come up with different ways of scheduling TV, i.e. how many episodes, how long the episodes are, who's going to write each episode, how they're structured, things like that. And so, when doing this, I've often thought about how I'd do it if I was in the Doctor Who scheduling job. And this is sort of what I've come to, right? Let me explain. Bar series finale, multi-part episodes have sort of just been binned off when the show got rebooted in 2023. You know, because of 8 episodes, there's not really, they see it as there's not enough time to have episodes span over, or stories span over multiple episodes, bar the overarching story. And whilst this could be seen that way, I'd actually argue the opposite. Doctor Who got shortened from 13 episodes to 12 episodes, from 12 episodes to 10 episodes, and from 10 episodes to 8, which is what we're on now. And that is such a short period of time to have Monster of the Week every week. So this is why I can see why people go down the serialisation route and think, we'll make every episode the same story. But I'd argue Doctor Who is Monster of the Week. That's what it is now. You know, you could argue back in the classic era, we're talking now, in the modern day, Doctor Who is Monster of the Week. That's what most people who watch nowadays know it for. And so, I feel like if we were to have episodes like Series 9, have a series like Series 9. So, say we've got 8 episodes, right? 8 episodes in a series. What we should do is make 4 stories for that series. 4 stories that then span over 8 episodes, right? It sounds a bit confusing, so let me explain. Every episode is a 2-parter. But literally like what Series 9 did. It was very obvious to me that Series 9 had decreased budget from Series 8. I don't know if it's because the ratings were going down, but I know Series 8 had a lot of budget pumped into it. I'm not saying Series 9 looks cheap, but compared to Series 8, to me it's obvious there's some budget loss there. And I think the 2-parters might have been a result of that. This would save them so much money, right? It just would. So episodes 1 and 2, 2-parter. Episodes 3 and 4, 2-parter. Episodes 5 and 6, 2-parter. Episodes 7 and 8, finale, 2-parter. That way, people who want serialisation also feel happy because we're getting stories span over multiple episodes, but it's not properly serialised. It's still Monster of the Week and serialisation coming together. It's us working together, and I think it's the best. That's the best outcome I'd want, especially if what they're saying is true and they're doing 4 hour-and-a-half episode specials throughout the year. Why not just chop those in half and just do an 8-episode series with 45-minute episodes with 2 parts? Because I'd prefer that, and maybe I'm alone. I will admit, there's some people I've said this to and they've gone, I sort of don't really like the 2-parters, but for me, a cliffhanger, that makes people want to come back. They want people to keep coming back to Doctor Who, and a cliffhanger, like the Series 9 with the Doctor being like, exterminates the little Davros, or the Ghost Doctor, or maybe not the hybrid one, but the one where Clara's the Zygon. Great cliffhanger. Even the 3-part finale, and this is something else I've said, Doctor Who could do what I've just suggested, the 2 parts, but it could do 3 parts as well. 9-episode series with three-parters. Again, I wouldn't mind that. I just don't like the idea of a whole series being stretched out to serialization because I don't think that works. Hello, Editing Sam here. Just another point on why I don't want serialization is because if someone's not interested in what the overall concept of the whole series is, they're unlikely to come back. Whereas with Monster of the Week, if they don't like one episode, they might like next week or they might like the week after. With serialization, if you don't like episode 1, chances are you're probably not going to be interested in the rest of the series. Like personally for me, I wasn't interested in the Flux. It didn't interest me. If you're not interested by the first episode, you're not coming back. We saw it with Flux, and yeah, sure, Chris Chibnall's not a great writer, but Flux still had the fundamentals that a serialization version of Doctor Who would have, and I don't think it works. Let me explain why I think this is the perfect way to do Doctor Who. So, the main thing that people complain about nowadays in Doctor Who, there's two people whose complaints matter. The fans and the BBC. This is speculation, right? This is just from what I've seen. The fans argue there's not enough character-driven moments. The BBC argue there's not enough money. So, what do I propose the Series 9 approach? Let me explain. With stories spanning out over 2-parters or 3-parters, we allow our characters and our stories time to breathe, where our characters can talk to each other and they can have these character moments that matter. We can also let stories slow down so you can digest what you've just seen without being like bang, 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 resolution, sad bit, overarching story, roll credits. This would work better, in my opinion. But I've been a fan for a long time, and I love Series 9, and I love Hellbent. But, yeah. I mean, it all depends. Let me know in the comments, would you like this? Is this something you'd like? Because it's something that's been sat on my mind for months and months now, almost probably a whole year, of just thinking, well, how can we fix Doctor Who? And I think this is probably the best solution I've heard that I'd want to see on my TV. And to go back with the money, the BBC one, as they claim there's not enough money, well, if you're having 3-parters or 2-parters, that pretty much chops your budget in half. No, that keeps your budget but chops your episodes in half. Because if you have an episode set on a space station for one episode, and then an episode set in a field, and an episode set on a quarry, if you have an episode set on a spaceship for 2 episodes or 3 episodes, then have an episode set in a field for 2 or 3 episodes, forest, I mean, not field a bit rubbish, and then an episode set in a quarry for 3 episodes, that would save you so much money to then be able to make it look like films. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, television nowadays has a thing where they feel like they need to make all their TV shows look like films to make sure they don't fall behind. Sod this. TV can look cheap. I'd rather Doctor Who be filmed on a little webcam like what I've got than a big camera, and then save the money for special effects, or save the money for extra actors to make it look all the different, or spend the money on guest cast, or spend the money on just paying your cast better so they do a better job. I'm not slating off Millie or Ncuti or Varada or anyone. I'm just saying, if Doctor Who does go back to BBC, it's evident BBC hasn't got as much money as it once did, speculation. And so, you know, if you're getting paid like a half-eaten carrot to be the Doctor, you're not going to do as big of a job as if you've got loads of money left over, because the money on sets didn't go there because you've got less episodes to fill with those sets. You see what I mean? I think it just makes sense, and I hope I'm not alone in thinking this. I hope some people join me in this, and I definitely prefer this over the specials idea. But I would prefer the specials idea over serialization. What I will say on the specials thing, the last thing I'm probably going to say on this, is I think it's good to always have something to look forward to. And if Doctor Who was on Easter, Halloween, Doctor Who Day, Christmas and New Year, every year, 5 specials, you've always got something to look forward to in a couple of months. I always found it quite depressing when the Doctor Who series would end. Like, I got it at the end of Empire of Death. I was like, oh, we've got to wait till Christmas, and then we've got to wait pretty much a whole year from now to see more Doctor Who. Yeah. Whereas if, you know, you see a special on New Year's Day, you're like, wow, well, we've only got 4 months until April, we'll see another special. April finishes, oh, we've only got another 6 months till October, we'll see what happens then. October, oh, we've only got a couple of weeks till Doctor Who Day. Doctor Who Day, oh, we've only got a couple of weeks until Christmas. Christmas, oh, we've only got a week till New Year, you know what I mean? And then you've always got something to look forward to, so I don't mind that either. I don't know, it's just a tricky place. I mean, look at how The War Between performed with cliffhangers, right? The War Between had cliffhangers. Obviously, some of them were a bit crap, just like, do you want to come down to the ocean, Barclay? Yeah, alright. Playing the closing theme. But with cliffhangers like in Series 9, I mean, I've started dropping off when Capaldi joined because I was too young and didn't really understand what his Doctor was about. Now I love him, he's my favourite, but when I started dropping off when Capaldi joined, but I'd always stay in Series 9 because of the cliffhangers. I was so intrigued on how the Doctor would get out of his latest being trapped, his latest state of being trapped. And so I think, you know, if you want people to keep coming back to your show, cliffhangers are the way to do that. And I'm talking a cliffhanger that means someone's about to die or someone's about to blow up or someone's a ghost, not who's this mystery old woman. Do you get me? And I do think you should still have overarching stories. For me, I love an overarching story. There are people out there who hate them. They hate the overarching stories, but I love them because I love to wait to get answers. That's another thing about Doctor Who. They're 45 minutes. And any answers you have, you sort of know will be answered within the 45 minutes. That's why I like an overarching story, because it does drag it a little bit. Just one little thing, like Bad Wolf, or the bees disappearing, or there's something on your back, or where did the Doctor hear Belinda's name? Stuff like that. I like to keep that threaded throughout. No complaints with me there. But my opinion doesn't matter. What matters is you lot. Do you agree with me? Do you think this would be a great approach for the future of Doctor Who? Or do you think you prefer the serialisation? Do you prefer you'd keep it as it is? Do you prefer the specials? Let me know with a comment. Leave a like as well. There's a hype button. If you're on mobile, there's a hype button. Please leave a hype on this video. It really helps me more than you'd know. And subscribe with the notification bell on. I post all the time and I've got a new camera now. It looks better. I'm still trying to mess with the settings on it, but I think it looks good. If you don't think it looks good, look at my old videos. It looks good. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later, and goodbye.